You guessed it, another edition of MTA Queensland's newsletter. This week's edition has some pretty interesting and important information for all employers across the state. We cover off in quite some detail the second tranche of the Australian government's closing the loophole legislation. Have a look, have a read across the various elements of change. If you've got questions, all you've got to do is pick up the phone and talk to our IR team. Happy to take questions. In the coming weeks, we will actually profile each of those segments that are contained in the paper. So just keep an eye on it and you'll learn every week. So we're really, really pleased being able to provide this information to you. Also, in this week's edition, you'll see some information on our school networking events that are attached to the Capricorn trade shows. First events, Roma, Toowoomba, Cairns. If you are an employer in and around those regions, please register and come along. But just as importantly, if you're a parent, send your school kids along. They can learn, they'll get to actually access the Capricorn trade show, talk to all the suppliers about the amazing careers we've got in our industry, but then talk to local employers about various job opportunities. Again, if you've got relationships with local schools, give them a rev as well. We'd like them to be involved, to be sending along cohorts of kids. Last piece of information, together with my chair, Paul Peterson, and our Deputy CEO, Kelly Dewar, we yesterday spent a fair bit of time with the new Minister for Transport and Main Roads, the Honourable Bart Mellish. Very informative, very engaged. He's certainly indicating a range of changes that we think will be good for our industry. But we put the normal issues on the table, the problems we've got with the AIS scheme, both in terms of fees and the training regime without proper regulation. We certainly put on the table the written-off vehicle, the long process around coming up with a policy on written-off vehicles, and a range of other policy issues, including subsidies for EVs, mopeds, micro-mobility solutions. Start of an agenda rather than the end of one. We're really hopeful that we can get some traction. Obviously, there's an election coming in October this year, so we're working with both sides of government. Got any questions? Get on the phone. See you next week.